So, welcome to this project. So finally, after a very long time, so we're able to do this finally, right? So, so in this project that we are building, so the goal is to build this interface. So, we're going to be building one of our live classes, right? So we're going to be using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, HTML and CSS to build out this. Probably in maybe future, maybe in the future we might add functionalities with JavaScript, like maybe calls, audio recording, and all of those things. But for now, so we're going to be focusing on building out the layout and then styling this particular file to look like this, exactly like this, whatever we have here, right? To do that, I've created a HTML file, a project, a folder on my system. I've opened it here, and I've created a HTML file to CSS and HTML file here. So two of them, that's what we have here. So I've also linked our CSS, right? Linked the CSS to, here, right? So with no further ado, so let's dive in. So the first thing I'm going to go is that I'm going to go okay. So first of all, we're going to be installing what we call an extension, right? An extension. So we have two ways of running your HTML code. Either you finish writing it here and then you have to maybe come to this side. Okay, let me open it up here. So this is the file, not here. This is where I have here. So double click on this to open it up. Alright, and then each time you make changes you still come back here and then reload, right? Or the other better way is to install an extension called live server, and that extension allows us to automatically run our HTML each time we have a change here. So another thing you notice that my system is my Visual Studio Code is on auto save, so each time I make a change it's automatically save on its own. To do that, if you want to do that, is to click on this file, on this settings down here. Come to settings. So come to this place, you have off, maybe it might be off by default, so after delay it automatically save. So that's it, right? So that's it for it. So to get the extension up, click here, click on this tab, then type extension live server. While live server is loading, so okay, so it's here now. If you notice, there are plenty things here. So the one you are going to be installing is the one that has this name, this week day, right? This weekday. So just click on it on proper, click on install. So I've already have it installed, so I don't need to uninstall and install again. So assuming I don't have it installed, you can see there's an install button that you can just click and then to start installing. So once it is done installing, so it's going to look like this basically. So it allows you to create a mini server that automatically refreshes your page whenever you make changes to your HTML or CSS file, right? So that's it for the pre-introduction class, right? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to come to this place, click on this CSS file, and I'm going to do a couple of pre-basic styles, right? First of all, I'm going to target everything on this page, right? I'm going to do hash means every element here. So I'm going to be taking away the default element, like default style that it has. First of all, I'm going to make it I'm going to make all of them margin 0, and I'm going to make it padding 0. Alright, so that's it. Now I'm going to also target the body. So I'm going to target the body, and then I'm going to do a couple of styles here. So I'm going to make the body width 100%, then height of 100 VH. 100 VH means vertical. Um so a VH, when you say 100 VH, means it's going to be responsive. Even if I have a screen that is maybe 20 by 30, or I say 20 by 30 for example, it's going to automatically scale to meet up the height and width for it. So that's it. That's what 100 means a full screen, right? So VH means vertical loop. And vertical what's it called? Vertical what again is that? Something like vertical row. I can't remember what the H means, right? Vertical horizon or something. So that's not what we should dwell on. So here, so I've already named our title Google Meet. So I'm going to click on this live server. Oh, what am I doing? So on this live server, so to set it up to have what we have to see, right? So this is what we have. So we have Google Meet, and so far so good. Everything is working perfectly fine. So the next thing is that this image. So I'm going to basically come here, get that image back, and then drag it screenshot. So that particular screenshot. Let me get not this. Yeah, I'm going to drag it inside Visual Studio Code. So like this. So I'm going to open it here. So I'm going to right click and do split left, right, and then close it up here. So I'm splitting it left here so that I can just look at it without so you can just have a visual representation of what we are doing without really what's it called, going that far. Okay, so this is what we are building, right? So now this page is basically divided into a couple of sections. So we have this first section on the top, we have the second section, we have the third one, we have the fourth one, which is the last section, right? So now I hope I'm still recording, right? Okay, I'm still recording. So let's move forward. So the next thing that we have to do is that we have our header. So we're going to group, this is going to be the header, these things here are going to be the main, and then we have our footer, basically our footer. Okay, yeah, our footer. So we have our header. So in the header we're going to have a section that's going to house this and this, right? So we have a section, so call that section. So we have two stuff here. So we have first aside and second aside, right? Second two items. The first item is this place here. This one that we have this text, the text and all of these things here, right? Oh, sorry, I brought up the wrong one. Wait. Here's the code. Oh, this is what I was looking for. Sorry. So basically I'm going to delete this one. So I'm going to leave this guy. So I'm going to split to the right. Back again. Yeah, so we have it. So we have two stuff here. So looking at this, we have two items. So the first item is this name here, and the second one is this stop presenting button. So for us to have it, so we're going to put them in an aside. So we do aside. So aside. So now we have our text. First of all, we have a div that hold our icon. So I'm going to just type in icon. We'll still come back to icons, right? So the next one we're going to have a p tag that says our name. So for this I have my name and yourself. So we have our curly brace. we are presenting. That's what we have here. Alright. Now, after this, we have another stuff. We have presenting audio. Right. I'm going to have another p tag. Have presenting audio. Okay. Audio. Now I'm going to have a little span. Then I'm going to call add. Instead of adding the audio yet, now I'm going to just type in audio for us to know that okay, we're supposed to have an audio icon here, right? We're still going to come back to this and then finish this up, right? So first thing first, so looking at this and what we already have, so we have on that side. On that side, so just have a span. I'm going to just add a span and call this stop presenting. Stop presenting. Now let's move to our CSS file. Right now, look, if you look at this body, if you look at the body of this, so let me drag this up more. So you notice something, that this body is not black and it's not white, right? It has a background, and what we have here has a background of white, which it's not supposed to have white, right? So I'm going to go back and then let's start doing the magic, right? Let's start doing the magic. First, I'm going to create what I call container, a style, what I call container. So I'm going to give this guy an ID of container. So a class of container. So container. And then I'm going to give this guy a class of top bar. Top bar. What else? So this aside is going to be top bar aside 1, and then we have top bar aside 2. Top bar aside 1, or let's call it top bar left. Top bar left, and then top bar right. So okay, top bar right. And this is time for our CSS, right? This is time for our CSS. Now the container. So first of all, we are going to have our container dot. We're going to add a container. And then we do, so we want to create a space here and a space here, right? So we are going to do first to margin 10px. So we want to have 10px up. We have 20px by the side, 20px by the side, and then what else? We have our color of white, because the text here are white, and what we have here is black, right? So let's stop here first. So let's do something real quick on the border, on the background, right? So the background color is not white, so we want to add a background color that's the closest to this that we have here. So I've done the whole checkup and all of those things, and I've figured out a couple of colors for you guys. So I'm going to just copy the color and then paste it here. So instead of going through the stress again, so that's it. So so this is what we have here. So this is what we have here. So we have this like this, right? So it still has a lot of work to go through, right? But it's looking fine. So then the next thing, so we already have our container. So our container, if you notice, our container is not black. You understand? So we want to distinct our container. So we're going to add another background color for container. So background color for container. So I'm still going to put this here. So I'll paste this RGB here for container. This is the color I'm going to be using. Now if you notice, it has a curve, a little curve, right? So it's not that much, so I'm going to do 10px, and then we do a font weight, so that it's going to be a bit bold, not that too bold. So font weight of 400 pixel, just 400. So this is what we have here, right? It's looking cool. Now let's continue. So we already have our space, 10px up, 20 left and right, right? So now let's continue. So remember we had another class that we called top bar. So please notice how I named this thing. Notice how it is. So first of all, we had our header. Then we gave a class of container to the header. Then we have another section inside it that we call top bar. So within the top bar, we have our first aside, right? So I'm going to put descriptions here, so you just know that this top bar, our top bar. Now we have aside left, right? Aside left, and then we have our side right. So this is the right aside. Sorry, I can spell. So now let's go. So this top bar. So since we already have our top bar, so the next thing we're going to add is style for the top bar. So now, so for us to have all of these things, all of what we have here, to be on the same line, so we use what we call display flex. We just do display. Just do display flex, right? We just do justify content space between. Now space between gives space, makes this to be on, like, shift each of these items to the edge, and then for them to be on the same line, right, we do align item center. So for all of them to be on the same line, so we have this. So wow, now coming together bit by bit, right? So we're not done with the style. So we're going to add, so looking at this, all of this, two of these things, like all of them are just at the edge, right? So they need to be spaced out. So I'm going to start again, so by giving padding 10px by 20px, right? So wow, 10 by 2. So we have space here, we have space on the left, and we have space on the right, in between. So now the next thing is so what next? So I'm going to do width of 100, %, and then we do what's it called, what else, width of 100, contain. This will make it to stay within the border of what we have of this div, this aside to of the section. So contain content, right? This is basically what happens, right? So I think basically that is it. Nope. Let's take this guy out. Let's see. still going to come back to that, but let's leave it for now. So now the next thing is to style our aside. So we have aside left, aside right. So I'm going to start with the first one, dot aside left. So already you know that like we have already squashed up items here, so we're going to bring them to the same line. So for us to have them, so we also do display flex align items center. So what's happening? Top bar left, sorry. So please always double check your style names. So I was confused a bit. I was like, why is it not working? So this is what we have here. Right? This is what we have. Now I want this to have a little big space. So I'm going to give it width of 50%. 50%. Give it a gap. The space, I want it to have 20px space. So this is what we have here. So we already have our top bar almost done. Now if you notice something, so it's remaining something, right? In between this, so we are supposed to have something here at this place, right? So we need to add it. So for us to be able to add it, right, we have to give this guy an ID, right? First to have it, so we have to give it an ID. So why am I giving it an ID, my ask, right? Because I'm only basically going to style this once, so I might not likely apply this particular style that I'm writing here to different other places. So that's why I'm going to add this. So we have this. So now the only thing we just add is basically border right, border right. So we're going to give border right of 1px solid white. So let's see how it's gonna look. It's not showing. Sorry, my bad. So I basically gave an ID and I'm calling, what's it called? So this is it here. So what happened was I have an ID and I'm calling it using a class. Please also note this, which times, right? So let me give it 10. So this is what we have here. So basically we are now cool. So we already have this guy coming out beautiful. So okay. So coming up. So the next one is the aside right? So I'm going to have copy this guy. Okay. You already give him mistake, right? I don't need this guy. So we're going to give it so basically we're going to give it 13% width of 13%, but it's small. and then go further down, this guy. So I'm going to target. So what am I targeting? I want to target this span here, not the entire stuff, like this span here that we have here. That's what I want to target. What's the time? Wow. So this span here, right? So targeting this span. So the first thing, oh sorry, I've not even added the span. To know what we are targeting here. So we're going to have a background color that's closer to what we have. So I'm going to paste the background color. Here. So the next thing, we're going to have a padding of 10 px, 6 px by 20 px. So top and bottom is going to be 6 px basically, and then left and right is going to be 20 px. So let's see how it's going to look. So this is what we have here already, right? That's fine. This is what we have here. That's fine. So the next thing I'm going to add is border radius. So but we're not going to be doing 10 is too small. If you're looking at this, so I'm going to put 20 to have a smoother edge, right? What else? So the text is not white, right? Text is not white, so we're going to change it to black color. Okay, text is blue, like I have already done. So I'm going to copy the text color. I'm trying to save a lot of time so that we don't start doing trial and error here. So this is the color that we're going to have. So we're going to have a width of 10 em. So let me give a context to this em. So 1 em is basically 16 px. 1 em is 16 px. Another 1 em is 16 px. So this is what we have. So this is what we have. I guess it's time to add that container. Contain. Sorry, content. Okay. So what else? Nothing much basically. So I guess we are done here. Okay, width of 100. Not here. So you might ask me why I'm adding this particular style. So it will basically help me to move this to the edge a bit, right? That was why I was adding those styles. So this is what we have now. So let's continue, right, to the next part. I hope you guys are enjoying this video already. So the next part is on our HTML. So the next part is this, right? So we're done with the header section. We're still going to come back and add the images, right? So now we have our main. So I'll call this header. So we have our main. Within this menu, we're going to have a footer. We're going to have this and this and this, right? So within this, so so now we're going to have the first thing we're going to have here is the meeting. So we're going to have our meeting body. Meeting body. So we have a section. So we have two stuffs within this meeting body. So we have this first guy and the second guy. So for us to be able to have it, so we're going to have another aside. Two aside, right? Two aside. Now for this, I'm going to get these images, right, of the camera. Okay. So basically, I've added the images that we need. So I created a new folder called assets, so and I added all the images, some of the images that we will be needing. So all of these things, I'm going to still drop those files for you guys, right? So now back to the stuff, back to what we were saying. So the first thing we need to have here is an image tag. We want to add the image, right? So now we have our source. Now because it's on the asset, so I'm going to I'm going to dot click. If I do dot this dot forward slash, I'll click on this and then I'll go to this. So the name of the image is Scream. So Scream. So share Scream. Scream share. Okay. Alright. You know why even this class. For the second one, for the second aside, so I'm going to shift this guy here. So inside here, I'm going to have, so notice something. So we have a couple of elements within this place. So we don't just have this image. For here, we just had this image. For this place, we had a couple of images here. I had this guy, my name, this pin, and this guy, right? The picture. So I'm going to first have what's it called? A div. I'm going to be using a div to separate the two. So I'll have the first div where I'm going to have the image. So I'll do the slash again, asset to I think it's profile, the JPG. So then down here I'm going to have another div which I'm going to add the profile details, profile images, like the icon, these icons, right? This icon here. So this is for it. So I'm going to call here, I'm going to give this guy a class. First of all, I'm going to add a class, a container class that we just we did this thing, we created it here, so that it's going to align these guys side by side. Where's that guy? I don't know where I have my Google. Oh, this is what we have. This is what we have. Right, this is what we have. So oh, I spelled. So I don't know why it's not. Okay, so let's write code. Let's see what happened in CSS, right? Let's look at what happened in the CSS. So okay, so the next one, Now I'm going to basically put this guy, and let's say we have on our container. So the container is basically doing what? Okay, the container is just adding space, right? And then adding background to what's it called, to our this, then styling in the people. Nothing much, nothing less. So let's go. So I'm going to put these guys, right? These guys.